So when it came to going home, they all went to Singapore, but I stayed on the boat and went to England. It was the Devonshire, that was the name of the troop ship. And on the Devonshire, when all the rest of the crowd had left, I organised entertainments, because the OC troops said, you're COC, you can get together with what talent there is on board and organise entertainment. I'll put a notice up so you get a volunteer. And among the volunteers was a boy called Durant, Ted Durant. And I worked with him much, much later at Coliseum. A pantomime with Tommy Steele, Cinderella, and a lovely boy, and he was a trained clown from Bertram Mills Circus. I'm brilliant at falling, and a marvellous clown with a great, red nose stuck on, and he used to do wonderful tumbles all over the place, and we were performing, in the Bay of Biscay. The ship was all over the place, and we were doing 3 shows a day on this promenade deck. You could hardly hear any clapping, because it was so cold, the troops, and they wore gloves, and so it was all terribly muffled, And we did these sketches in a sort of review, and he played in one of these sketches part of a Russian. He was covered in fur, and every time he entered, we had somebody throwing a lot of paper of snow over him, and there on the set was this old lady with one of the nurses on board. We got her to play it. She was an old lady, and she was in this chair, you'll see, and she was covered in white makeup and looked terribly ill. She was supposed to. And she sat there looking terribly ill. And he kept coming on saying, Mother, come away to the hills. There is Puishnov, Krakow, and Marakov. They will save you. Come away to the hills, Mother, before it is too late. Come away to the hills. And she said, I cannot, my son. I am too ill. And then there was a great chorus singing the Volga Boatman. Oh, all backstage, oh. And then he came back on and said, Mother, come to the hills. There is Puishnov, Krishnov, Trakov, and all these offs went on. And she said, no, my son, I cannot. I am too ill. And he rushed off again, and the chorus went, oh. And they all sang, you see, very fervently. And then he shot on for the last time. Mother, come to the hills. There is Puishnov, Krakow, Mirikov, Farakov. Come to the hills before it is too late. Oh, no, my son, I cannot. I am too ill. At which point I came on and wheeled her off, saying, we'll have to discontinue. This woman's obviously far too ill. Yes. It's a riot, isn't it? I never found out who wrote that sketch. But I'd like to find out. Yes, well, of course, after that, it meant coming back to London. You see, well, the first leading role I had, was in St. Joan. I played the river, and St. Joan was played by Siobhan McKenna. And I remember this very well, this production, because in the Chinon scene, the bishop had this great diatribe to Joan, saying, you stand alone, utterly alone, the Dauphin will not help you, the Bastard of Orléans will not help you. I told you, you stand utterly alone with your own impiety, your own arrogance, your own self-willed pride. And she had this speech afterwards, very moving, about, if I go through the fire, I will go through it to their hearts forever and ever, so God be with me. And the whole thing depended on the furor that was aroused by this great, you stand alone, utterly alone, with your own ignorance, your own impiety, your own arrogance. And on this particular night, this old boy playing this bishop, covered in cloth of gold and a mitre and this great crook, he forgot everything. I mean, he said, you're on your own, you are. Yes, well, you stand, they've all told you, you stand on, you're on your own, and, oh dear, what is it? And he went to the prompt corner. What is it? What is the line? She got the, thank you, dear. You stand with your own impiety, your own arrogance, oh, thank you very much, it was very kind of you. And they said to the house, I'm sorry about this, it was a very difficult play. Very difficult play. Just bear with us, you see, very difficult play. And meanwhile, Siobhan was standing, and she was starting to laugh, you see. And it ruined the scene as far as she was concerned, because then her bit about if I go through the fire was all for her lost, and she came off furious. I'm going to see him. I'm going up to his room. I'm going to have it out. I'm going to have it out with him, you see. And she was really very angry. And she was going to go up to see him. And Frank Royd, this old boy, he was all in this cloth of gold. It was boiling hot. And he was relaxed, you know. He always relaxed in the dressing room would pull this gold up. And this mitre. It was boiling hot, and he used to put the legs up, you see. And yes, I'm afraid there wasn't any underwear. And she went in there full of anger and came out quite quickly. And I said to her on the stairs, "Do you have it out with him?" She said, "It's out already, himself." And then she always made me laugh because she took me to an Irish restaurant she loved out, and this boy gave us drinks first. And then we went upstairs to eat, and he came to the table to take the order. And seeing that he was doing 2 jobs, she said, Siobhan, "Oh, are you doubling?" And he said, "No, Tipperary." That was incredibly funny. And then after that, do you see, because Orson Welles had been to this play and seen it, I mean, quite impressed by me because of he said, the contradistinction between 2 characters. I played, you know, the Dauphin as very young, and when he becomes the king, as very old. I went very old. Slightly common king, actually. He was quite impressed by it and said, "I'm doing a production of Moby Dick, my own adaptation of the Melville novel. I'd like you to be in it. There are lots of parts you can play." I said, "Oh, yes, I'd love to." So I went into it playing all these different parts. And I had about half a dozen parts, in fact. I was a lookout at one point. I had to keep running up and down saying, "She blows a great white spout." This great white spout stuff. It's all about spermaceti whales. It wore me out, you know. I was all rushing back and forth because that was supposed to be the lookout very high, and so I was shouting it very high. Then coming back for this old prophet that had to be the voice of doom and say, "Don't ye board her, to ship accursed, don't ye board her." I was worn out with all this great white spout and "don't ye board her." And Gordon Jackson, I think he's... Yes, I can see him. Gordon Jackson. Do you remember you were playing Ishmael?
Yeah, I'll never forget.
Yes, at rehearsal, he had to come forward and say, call me Ishmael. Long ago I had a dream. And there was a long speech about sailing the seas. And he came on at rehearsal and said, "Call me Ishmael." And Orson shouted, "If a man answers, hang up." Do you remember? We all laughed. We laughed a lot, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And do you remember the night he put the cuts in?
Oh, don't mention it. Those cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, he put these cuts in. And really, we had no idea. I was playing this carpenter, and I had a long scene with him, which was all about black and white, and he maintained that the Melville lines about black and white were a plea, didn't he, Gordon, for racial toleration. The black and the white. There were all these lines about the black and the white, and I had to say the leg would be made of ivory, the whiteness of white ivory, and the whiteness of brides. And I had to kneel to do this leg. "I'll picture a leg for you, Captain Ahab. Yes, I'll make it of ivory, the whiteness of ivory, the whiteness of brides, all in white, the ermine majesty of justice. Oh, the whiteness of the ermine robes." And I was going on and on. And in the middle of it was quite a long scene, in the middle of it, he leaned over and said, "Get off." So, it was open stage production. There was no set. No set at all. So you could be seen, so there was nowhere to hide. So I got up and I did, yes. "Good luck and God bless you." I was doing "God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir. And may you sail the calm waters," and rubbish just to get off. You see, and then I got off and you had to stand in the wings and freeze. They said, when you're in the wings, freeze, and then the audience won't look at you, you see. They did. Stuff comes off on your clothes. And so I was standing there freezing, you see, and Joan Plowright was standing next to her. She was Pip the cabin boy. And she said, what happened? What happened? And I said, "He told me to get off." She said, "You're joking. Get off?" I said, "Yes, get off." I said, "Oh, charming, isn't it? Nice way to behave." I said, "Yes, a big scene, cut 20 minutes. She said, "Oh, it's outrageous. The whole scene gone." I said, "Yes, I'm gone. It's just gone." She said, "Oh, who's next?" I said, "It's you." She... Well, she shot onto the stage. It was like a bat out of hell. She rushed on. She was playing Pip, this cabin boy, and she had to say, Captain, put thy hand in mine, the black with the white, thus shall whiteness become blackness, and black become whiteness, and all blackness shall be white, and white shall all be black. It's part of this thing about the racial thing, you know. Again, so she'd rush on and do this. Well, she was in a terrible panic. So she shot on, and Billy Chapel had said, go between Orson's legs and make the crucifix sign. Do you remember? Of suffering. He said, do it like that. So the black and the white, you see, and suffering. Make it the whole thing suffering. Oh, Captain, put thy hand in mine. So she shot on and banged into him, and he said, And she bawled out, put the black in mine, the hack and the hand in mine, the black and the white, and black shall become whiteness, and whiteness shall become blackness, and blackness shall become... And it sounded like a sort of mad advert for Homer. And then, of course, I mean, the first night we'd all been, it was about 3.5 hours, been there till about 11:30, and the next night we were all out and in the pub by 9. It was unbelievable. It was so quick.